Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and as always, welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. This past weekend was a big one for the competitive scene, as both the Team YCS Quito in Ecuador, as well as YCS Utrecht saw their winners. For the Team YCS, congrats go out to Freddie Monroy, who played Danger Tier Limit Lunalite, Geraldo Delgado, who played Tri-Brigade Sprite, and Anthony Ramirez, who played Fluwanderese. And of course, congrats go out to Joshua Schmidt, who played Runic Sprite to win himself YCS Utrecht. I was unable to find much in the way of reports for Quito, but Utrecht showed some interesting results. Top 64 for the event showed the dominant deck of the event not to be Tearlaments, as many, including myself, had expected, but instead Runic Sprite, with the deck taking roughly 30% of top 64 and Tears only getting in at 13%. It is worth noting, however, that the other in the 26% of this pie chart here does include a number of Tearlaments and Sprite strategies as well, so the numbers for both Sprite and Tears could be a bit higher than the reported 30 and 13% respectively. The trend continues for top 8, with Runic Sprite being 50% of the top cut, and only 2 Tearlament decks getting into top 8, one of which was also playing Runic, mind you. Tears did not, however, make it into the top 4, with the top 4 being 3 Runic Sprites and 1 Evil Twin Sprite, before whittling down to a Runic Sprite Mirror in the finals. Can you tell Runic Sprite was the deck of this one? I sure can. It would seem Runic Sprite has shown itself to be a top contender for the meta, one that I'm sure a number of people have slept on due to the overwhelming amount of tier limit hype with the upcoming Ishizu cards from Magnificent Mavens. Still, that set isn't out quite yet, and the Runic cards are. This is Joshua Schmidt's third YCS win to date, at an event of approximately 2,100 players. So again, congrats goes to him, no small feat there. This event also drew more ire for the current game's time rules, with many Sprite decks playing Red Resonator to gain life points for time. And more interesting than any of that, in the finals of the event, Dinkabui was not allowed to scoop it up and surrender in Game 1 of the match. Scooping Game 1 to get into Game 2 to save time against a strong board is hardly an uncommon thing. It's even recommended in some cases. Though if you aren't aware, it's not allowed in the finals to, quote, ensure a clear champion. And according to the number of commenters I've seen, presumably to make for a more interesting stream, which can't be the case, but either way, it's very funny to say out loud as I show you this report of YCS Hartford 2022 in the finals of that game. Drew and passed is fine, but tactical surrender to avoid time is not. At least according to the masses. It'll be interesting to see how this all affects potential... It'll be interesting to see how all of this affects potential results at YCS Minneapolis, set to take place this weekend. That's right, starting tomorrow. Will Runic Sprite show itself to be a strong contender there as well? Will Danger Tier have the sideboards prepped to handle it now? Or will Mystic Mind Burn make the comeback of the century? We'll find out after this weekend. In product news, today saw the release of Darkwing Blast, the next core set here in the TCG. While not set to be as impactful as Power of the Elements was, it does have Blackwing cards, which means that there are a plethora of potential SEMO jokes to be made here. I can choose anyone that I want to, but I don't, so we're not going to, because all I've got is something damage step, maybe? I got nothing here, folks. We're just going to move on. Actually, though, Spellbound might be a neat new card to hate, and the Bestial cards have the chance for Dragon Link to come back into a locals near you. Bet that you're excited for that, aren't you? Dragon Link? 3 years in a row? More of an ending combo? Are you excited for it? I am. Or maybe you'd like the new Link and Fusion monsters for Sprite and Tearlaments respectively. Still, even if not a game breaker, it adds some variety to a number of older strategies like Fur Hire, Blackwing like I've mentioned, and even Draco Slayer Pendulum decks. It also introduces for us the Kashitra archetype, which is set to become a contender in the next set after Photon Hypernova. And speaking of Photon Hypernova, I've gone over the last of the new cards from the OCG set in this week's new card report, which you can check out there. Click on that video if you want to see just how disappointing even more new Dark Magician support can be. It's not from Photon Hypernova. To be fair, it's from a different OCG side set, but that doesn't make it any better. In more exciting news, and more timely news at that, select Yugi tubers have received early boxes of Magnificent Mavens, set to release on November the 3rd to the masses. Beyond giving us the Ishizu cards to ruin the metagame and my interest in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For a brief period of time moving forward, if I'm being perfectly honest, the set has now been confirmed to have multiple quality reprints in it, including Lightning Storm, Triple Tactics Talents, Infinite Impermanence, Evenly Matched, Millenniumize Restrict, the Traptrix Sarah Link Monster, the BLS Link, and more. And even better, it has rarity bumps for such cards as Draco Back, Light and Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, Goes and Match, and even more from there. There are plenty of cards that I have not mentioned, as I'm not making this video an extra 10 minutes long for me to list every decent card in the set. But the majority of the set has been confirmed on YGO Organization and on Yugipedia if you'd like to check that out for yourself. This set does also include some cards in the Egyptian Hieroglyphic Pharaonic Rare, or whatever that's called, last seen in King's Court if I'm not mistaken. I'm unaware of what cards are in this rarity, but I can tell you that from 20 boxes across various channels, only one single box has had a single card in said rarity. Of note, that card was Lightning Storm, for that extra flex factor when you're building your side deck. When you look at it and you're like, no, that needs to cost 300 more now. Seems like a pretty great box, right? Well, that'll all depend on the pull rates. God willing, they're better than the Megatins were, because I'm still hurting from that one. Haven't even sorted the cards from it. I don't want to look at them. Don't want to be reminded of what I pulled. Still, provided the pulls from Mavens are decent, this could easily be one of the top sets of the year. In a tweet from Team APS and mentioned in his pack opening video, Konami did send him information on the packs in the set, stating that the packs would be, quote, less random and more consistent, which according to them means we should expect to be pulling a new card in just about every pack, and when you don't get a new card, you can expect a related card in its place. Specifically mentioning you might get the reprint of the Sky Striker token from OTS Pack 8 in place of your new card, because the set has new Sky Striker cards. More interestingly to me, they state they intend to have a, quote, good card as well as a rarity bumped card in each pack as well. They do state that opinions may vary on whether or not people think the good card is indeed good, but provided the pull rates aren't that of Pot of Prosperity from the tins, again, this could be the best set of the year. Not to hype up and, get all overboard. Hopefully I don't eat my words here and doom the reprints to be skewed beyond reason. I just want a Lightning Storm that I can both afford and is in stock, because all of my local sellers are out of stock for that fucking card. Always. There's only the $80 original printing for it, and I'd kind of not want to spend, $240 on something I don't have to. Oh, and also short print the shit out of the BLS link, because it's tradition at this point. And my brain is telling me I just mentioned that it needs a reprint in a single card history video that I made, but I'm not sure if it's one I've already published or one that's set to be published later. And if it's set to be published later, after the reprint's already been announced, I'm gonna look really stupid. So I think we should just all agree to tank the value of the set in favor of my ego, please. Please subscribe. Also worth mentioning, remember that there is a notable difference between the North American and European versions of the set. Each box is the same across the TCG in both Europe and North America, namely coming with one pack of 70 sleeves featuring one of 6 variants, and then 4 packs of cards, each containing 5 ultra rares in the packs, meaning you're paying for some sleeves and 20 cards when you buy the box. Not terrible if you're buying it at MSRP. Where the changes come in is in terms of bulk buying. European displays will come with 6 boxes, or 24 packs, and a case will have 8 displays, meaning a case of European Magnificent Mavens comes with 192 packs, if my math is correct there. Meanwhile, the North American displays only have 5 boxes per display, or 20 packs, and cases only come with 4 displays in it, so a case of Magnificent Mavens in North America only has 80 packs compared to the European case's 192. That is a substantial difference. But the cost of the two is also substantially different, I can pretty much assure you. I haven't looked at it, but there's no way they're charging 192 and 80 for the same dollar value. And if they are, they're not going to get away with it because no one's buying the 81. If you are looking to buy this set, I recommend getting a European case, assuming you're someone who wants to buy in bulk. Otherwise, as always, singles are how you mingle, or whatever it is the kids say these days. Also, if you do end up buying a North American case for a European case price, the joke about Yu-Gi-Oh! Players and reading has been beaten to the dirt a little bit, but good God, read what it is you're buying before you purchase it, because otherwise, it's on you. And if that's the case, then you're a fucking idiot. Please subscribe. In Master Duel news, October marks the third month in a row we've received a ban list towards the end of the month. This month says completely irrelevant, semi-limiting Sword Soul Longwan, branded opening, and Fluonderies in the Wandering Map. There are 4 unlimits as well, and they're about as relevant as the semi-limits were. That is to say, not at all. But hey, now Flu has only, what, 6 copies of the map when you remember terraforming in their new quick play? That's progress, people. We're really getting somewhere. Not much else to report here, except maybe I should get off my ass and actually make some Master Duel content. Players that are fans of the popular manual online simulator Dueling Book have been without their favorite place to be called slurs for quite some time now, with the website having been down due to migrating servers if I'm not mistaken, and it is unknown when the site will be back up. As I say that, mind you, I got to the login page earlier and was simply told I can't connect, so I don't know when servers might be back up as I'm filming this. Hopefully, by the time the video's out, we're back up and good to go. While it is easy to make a joke about the worst sorts of people that use the site, this is actually a shame in my opinion, because Dueling Book is my personal preferred way to play online when I can. I know, Master Duel looks and runs way smoother. Believe me, I know. But having to learn my deck and what plays I can make and when I can make them is something I very much enjoy in Yu-Gi-Oh! And as pretty as Master Duel is, when I play with my actual cards that I significantly prefer to Master Duel and just any online versus in-person dueling, my cards in my graveyard don't glow when I can make a play. Similarly, my monsters aren't glowing when there's an effect that can activate or anything of the sort. Or when I make a play, I don't see a timer priority passed to the opponent, so I can be like, oh, they do have a hand trap I need to be wary of. Those aren't terrible things, they aren't game-breaking, and it doesn't ruin Master Duel for me in any sense. As a person who likes to play in paper most, I just find Dueling Book to be the best representation of the game online in that capacity. I want to learn my deck, I need to do it manually, I'd like a manual simulator. Hopefully it's back up soon, and hopefully your next judge call won't take 45 minutes to resolve. In community news, a somewhat random one this week, with the Twitter account Consumers posting their L's online, tweeting out a screenshot of Konami representative Douglas Zeef's tweet of him hugging the legendary giant Sveal. This was met with mixed responses, with a number of people stepping up to bat for Zeef, but a number of authentic Twitter users being authentic Twitter users. Special mention goes out to this jackass, who was highlighted to me by MBT for tweeting out that the way Zeef holds the Sveal is how he holds his, quote, smoking Italian wife, which is something that he wrote without a hint of irony, I can assure you. He just gives her the good old-fashioned chokehold that Zeef is giving this stuffed animal, and then tells people about it on Twitter. And remember, he's the cool one. You're the loser. He's really cool, and his smoking Italian wife is real and better. This is because, of course, if you find some level of enjoyment or personal fulfillment and any amount of contentness from smaller things in your life, you're cringe. Real men just brag about their smoking Italian wives on Twitter. Personally, I hope I can find some ways to force this to be a recurring joke on my channel, because I can promise you, I am going to fucking try. And I encourage everyone in the comments to criticize me in exactly this manner, by comparing my actions, my jokes, everything I do to how you hold your smoking Italian wife. Because congratulations, by subscribing to my channel, you not only have become a true duelist, but you now also get to brag about your smoking Italian wives. But only on the internet. Never in person, no photographic evidence, only being a dick. Get to it, folks. There you go, I just figured out my first channel membership bonus. It's that smoking Italian wife you get when you subscribe. Don't hold me to that. That's metaphysical, not real. And for the final note for this week's update, I may start uploading shorts now to try and boost the reception and the algorithm and the noticements and all that fun jazz in the YouTube worlds. You may have noticed I reposted an earlier video as a short. Apologies if you saw that and were like, what the fuck? Because I didn't realize it would make it a new video. I thought it would make that old video into a short. Either way. Still, it might make for a good highlight reel of sorts from some of the higher points of the update and whatnot. But if at any point the shorts are to get overwhelming, feel free to let me know. God knows I hate spam, and I'd hate to spam you with shit you've already seen. One day, if I get big enough, there'll be a clips channel, but until then, we're just chugging along. Everything's on this YGO strats. YGO, hats or whatever the hell I make for my alt channel in the hypothetical future. We'll figure that out when we get there. And so that'll wrap it up for this week's update. As always, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to YGO Strats for next week's updates, and so you too can be a true duelist. And get a smoking Italian wife too, don't forget it, baby. Smoking Italian wives, here we go.